Okay, friends, Gittin Erev Shabbos. We have an amazing subject today, connecting Parshas Masei to the time of the year. We have a beautiful crowd today. We have Jews from New York, from Florida, from Panama, from Eretz Yisrael, and from Norfolk, Virginia, and from many other eminent places. So I want to share with you the connection between Parshas Masei and this time of the year. Well, firstly, Eila Masei B'nai Yisrael, these are the travails, the travels of the Jewish people. Well, this time of the year, we're commemorating Churban, we're commemorating Geula, we're being Misabel on Yerushalayim and the resultant Galus. Eila Masei B'nai Yisrael, these are the travails, the travels of the Jewish people, a reference to our Galusim. It is well known, Megala Amukais says, and many other Svarim, the Kasnaisar, say, Eila Masei B'nai Yisrael are the four main Galusim. Eila Masei B'nai Yisrael are Rashi Tevais, the four Galusim. Edom, Moav, Bavel, Yavan. Eila Aleph, Edom, Masei, Madai, B'nai, Beis, Bavel, Yisrael, Yavan. These are the four Galusim. I would humbly suggest the reason why they're given in this order is because they're given in order of eminence. Edom is the chief galus, the fourth galus, the longest galus of 2,000 years. According to Tosfos, the last galus Edom. Followed by, the Gemara in Avodah Zarah says, Madai, which goes with Paras, is also one of the two chashuv galusim. Then you have Bavel. Bavel was the first galus, Nebuchadnezzar. It was compared to a lion, next in terms of importance. And finally, Yavan. Now let's look at the trup on these words. Eila azla geiresh munach revi. Azla, we left. Geiresh, we were checked out. We were chased out. Munach, we were placed. Revi, in the four galosim. So on these words, Eila azla geiresh munach revi. We were chased out. Azla, we left. Geiresh, we were chased out. Munach, we were placed. Revi, in the four galosim. This is a Megala Amukais, Rav Nasa Nata Shapiro. So this is also a very profound connection to the time of the year. Then in Parshas Masei, we read about the borders of Eretz Yisrael. And of course, this time of the year when we're being misabel over Eretz Yisrael and Yerushalayim, so we read about the borders to show our love for the land, to show our love for Eretz Yisrael, to show our longing for it, to show how much we miss it, we wish we could be there. And that's why the Torah uses the word vihis avisem. The word used to describe the drawing of the lines of the borders and the boundaries are vihis avisem, which could also be a language of ta'ava. That when it comes to Eretz Yisrael, one has to have a desire for it. One has to yearn for it. It has to be an Eretz Chemda, a land that we really desire. Now I want to end off by sharing with you an idea. I never said it on record yet. I thought of it last year. Last year, the Shabbos, we were in Amsterdam. And I think it's a very powerful idea. You know, for all intents and purposes, this week we finished the Torah. We finished the Torah. The Torah is complete. The Torah ends with Parshas Masei. You say, no, we have one more book to go. Davar is different. You know, the first Tosfos in Gittin says, why does a get have 12 lines? Because in between Bereshis and Shemais and Vayikra and Bamidbar, there are 4 lines of space in between each Sefer. 4, and 4 is 12. And there are 12 lines of cutting off in the Torah, and a get has to be a Sefer Krisos. And Tosfos asks, what do you mean? What about between Bamidbar and Devarim? Tosfos says, no. Devarim is just a repetition. It's just a Mishnah Torah. The Torah ends with Masei. So, if the Torah ends in Masei, probably the way the Torah ends should be very important. Probably it will end with a very powerful message. How does it end? It ends with the story of the Bnei Slavchad. That Moshe commanded the Bnei Israel that the Bnei Yosef spoke well. Hashem commands the daughters of Tzafchad, marry anybody you want, but don't you dare marry someone from a different shevet. Because if you marry someone from a different shevet, let's say you marry a guy from Zvulun, and your husband dies, you know what could happen? You're going to inherit his land, and then it might be then inherited by, if you marry another man, so the land you inherited from Shevet Zvulun will then go to... Let me explain better. These B'nai Tzafchad were from Shevet Yosef. If they marry someone from Zvulun, and now they inherited their father's land because their father had no sons. If they marry someone from a different Shevet, and they die, the guy from Zvulun will inherit land from Shevet Yosef. You can't have that, right? You understand the scenario? The daughters of Tzafchad were just girls. There were no boys in the family. So when their father died, they inherited, the share of Yosef went to them. If they marry a guy now from a different Shevet and they die, the guy from, let's say, Zvulun or Dan or Ruvain will inherit land in Shevet Yosef. And then land that belongs to Shevet Yosef will be transferred to a different Shevet. So therefore, even though, therefore Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, tell the B'nai Tzafchad they can marry anyone they want, but they can't marry someone out of their shevet. V'lo sisoiv nachala mimata lamata ish benachalasa yidbeku matais b'nei Yisrael. And the Torah says, as God commanded Moshe, the B'nai Tzafchad did that. And they married their uncles, their cousins, from B'nai Menashe ben Yosef, and therefore their nachala remained in their tribe. And then the Torah says, let's call it a day. That's the end of the Chumash. That's the end of what we call the Mosaic Law. That's the end of the Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Isn't it unusual that the Torah should end, that the B'nai Tzafchad could inherit from their father, but if they want to get married, they can marry to anyone, but not from a different shevet? That's the end of the Torah? That's the most important message that the Torah has? Let's think to how the Torah begins. The Torah begins, Bereshis bara Elokim. Rashi says, why is it important to know God created the world? Because throughout history, the accusation against the Jewish people will be, you stole our land. You're occupiers. You're colonizers. It's very hard to occupy and colonize land that belongs to you. But they say, we're occupiers. So God says, listen, the opening message of the Torah is, I created the world, I gave you the land of Israel, it belongs to you. That is the opening message of the Chumash. The opening message of the Chumash is, Eretz Yisrael belongs to Klal Yisrael. That's why the first communication of the Torah, according to Rabbi Yosef Engel, the first mitzvah of the Torah was Lech Lecha, that Hashem tells Avraham Avinu. I would humbly assert, the Torah is concluding in a similar manner, but taking it to the next level. Don't think that Eretz Yisrael belongs to the Jewish people merely on a national level. It's more than that. Eretz Yisrael belongs to every Jew on a personal level. And because it belongs to every Jew and to every shevet, it's important to know. It's important to know that if you are an only daughter and you inherited from your father, don't marry someone from a different shevet. Because if you married someone from a different shevet, the divinely ordained land that belongs to you and belongs to your tribe and belongs to your soul will get transferred to a different shevet. So while the Torah begins of the deep connection Eretz Yisrael has to the Jewish people on a national level, the Torah ends with the deep connection Eretz Yisrael has to every Jew on a personal level. That is the conclusion of Sefer Bamidbar, and for all intents and purposes, the Torah. And what is a more important limud during the 3 weeks than to learn not only the connection that we have to Eretz Yisrael nationally, but the connection we have to have with Eretz Yisrael personally. And that is how the Torah concludes, similar to how it ended, but an even more compelling message. Okay, so that's Davar Yafeh B'itai on Parshas Masei. I want to share with you something else as well. I'm with you. I'm just getting the Sefer Choymas Anach Okay. Here we go.